Hi, this is Brian DiSabatino. I happen to have the privilege of being one of the co-founders of a very, very important initiative here in Delaware that we call VetFest. Every year in September, this year on September the 28th, we invite the entire community to put their arms around our military to celebrate that which makes us great and to help those who may be struggling as we work together to end the epidemic of veteran suicide. Every once in a while, someone in the crowd stands out to be an extraordinary leader, somebody who blazes a path and really puts the energy behind all of our efforts. This year, on May 16th, the community is gathering to honor one of those people, a guy who's become a great friend of myself and a great friend of the community, Robert Elder, United States Navy, retired. When I was born in 1965, Mr. Elder, at the time, was struggling with the idea of how to serve his country, maintain his family, placate his parents, but delivering to his ethos that resonated in his core. And so we are so excited to share with you a story of a regular guy from Philadelphia that's now part of the Delaware community by the name of Robert Elder, who hopefully will help you, your families, and the community understand why this is a fight worth fighting for. So help me celebrate Robert Elder.
All my life, from the time I was a little boy all the way through the military, I can recall having close friends, close family friends, business friends, military friends, who for some reason or other had taken their lives. And I always ask myself the question, what could I have done? What could I have done? And when you told me about the VetFest, it dawned on me. This is the answer. This is what I could have done. And I wanted to say to you in so many words, sign me up. I'll go with you. To look inside your heart as to what you believe. And doing something in the military is a way to act out what you believe, that we should be peaceful nations. We should be peaceful people, and peace comes at a price. And I am willing to pay that price. You should be willing to pay that price. And it will pay off for you, either in the military or in civilian life afterwards. You will take a step up above others who did not do that, so that for the rest of your life you have that leadership training and that devotion to something you believe in. The things that I observed in the first 5 years of my life, I took for granted that this is the way life is. You cannot buy a car. You cannot get a toy made of metal. You cannot buy meat without a ticket that is given to you. You cannot get butter. All of these were saved for the war effort. And I grew up thinking that's the way things are. And it said to me, there are sacrifices that are a part of life. That wasn't just one group, it was everybody, your neighbors, everybody. Nobody could have anything more than you could have. We were all the same. We gave to that war. And I would see soldiers walking by. Everything was military. My father would take me to the Navy Yard, and there'd be parades, and there was a great influence to a young boy of patriotism beyond what you can even think about right now. That I grew up with a devotion to that. It was wonderful. The man next door to me came out of the Army. The man across the street from me was a naval officer. All my teachers, all my male teachers in elementary school were just coming out of the military. There was captain this and lieutenants that, and they were gods to me. They were people I would follow because of who they were. There was a call for service. The Vietnam War had just begun. And I'm thinking back to my upbringing for 18, 20 years, and how that affects me. And here I am talking to a company who wants to hire me. And I told Exxon when they interviewed me at the University of Pittsburgh, and offered me a job. I said, I think I'm going to decline because I'm going to make the Navy a career. And they looked at me aghast. And they said, you don't understand. This is a career for the rest of your life. It's a good career, and it was a good company. And at that point, for a fleeting moment, I changed my mind. I said, okay, I will accept your offer. And I did. You'll always find with veterans who have served in combat, there are things they don't want to talk about. But always, 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 they will talk about the pride of serving. I hearken back to something when I was 8 years old. And I can remember being in the kitchen of my house, and my mother is standing there washing dishes with her hands in the tub. We didn't have dishwashers then. And I asked her, Mom, why do these men who now surround us, why did they give up family to go into a war? And she said, Bobby, there's something you should know. There was a poem written long ago by Robert Lovelace called To Lucasta on Going to the Wars. And he writes of the conflict of giving up the love of his lover to go into war. And the closing sentence of To Lucasta on Going to the Wars is, and this injustice is you too will endure. I'm sorry, I'm missing it. And yet this inconstancy is such as you too shall endure. I could not love you, dear, so much, loved I not honor more. And that stuck with me. And so 20 years later, the war was on. I've got a job, and I get a call from, I joined the Navy, and I'm in there for 3 years, and I'm about to get out of the Navy. And my ship is in Charleston, and at home in my house in Charleston is my mother, my father, my 1-year-old baby, and my wife waiting for me to leave the Navy, which was a week from then, and they would take me home. And a call came to me on my ship from Washington, and it was my detailer saying, Bob, we've got all your papers ready, you're due to get out. But we just want you to know there's an opportunity for you if you'd like. If you will sign up for 1 more year, we can send you to Vietnam, and you can be the commanding officer of a swift boat in Vietnam. And thinking of my mom's words when I was 8 years old, I said, sign me up. And when I went home that night, we sat down to dinner, and I broke the news that I'm not going home with them. I've decided at the last minute to sign up for 1 more year and go to war. And my mom, after all the crying stops, my mom asked, how could you do that? And I said it to my mom. And yet this inconstancy is such as you all will adore. I could not love thee, dear, so much, loved I not honor more. The same thing she told me when I was 8 years old. And the crying stopped. And with that, I joined the Navy and went into swift boat training in Vietnam. America is worth everything we can give it. And I could see America has given back to me as a result of that. It has given back to me in job opportunities and all kinds of social opportunities where freedom of decision to go anywhere you want is there. And it has to do with people who are willing to give something up to get that for me. And it never leaves me, that feeling that there are others who went before me and created that notion for me. And I'm happy to carry that out through VetFest. They should understand that people who come out of the military were conditioned for 3 to 4, 2 years with structure, with organization, with all kinds of demands upon them, which they became accustomed to. And when they came out as a civilian, some of them, when they discovered that isn't there all the time, could not cope with that, and led to disastrous results. And so, knowing what VetFest stands for, it's a way to help identify that in people and help stop that to help step in and help. There was an old song back in 1968 by the Vogues, and it said, "There is someone walking behind you. Turn around, look at me." And I say, that is me. That is Brian. That is VetFest. I think that what I'm most proud of is I made a decision to do something that was an enormous risk, an enormous give up to me for one reason, and that is honor. This is an honorable thing to do, and I will do that for that reason.
Now that you've met Bob Elder, I think you'll agree he is one heck of a human being and one heck of an American. We hope you'll join us on May 16th at the Brantwin Estate in Newcastle County from 5:30 to 7:30 as we celebrate Bob. Somewhere in this social media circle, there is probably a link to tell you more information, but we hope you'll join us to celebrate Bob Elder, United States Navy.